Thing. Somebody already gave me a thumbs up, but there's nobody in the room. Well, I'm doing my water routine first. I have a new technique that I think, not really 100% certain here, obviously, but I'm trying to master this vacuum blender. And I personally think it's not a perfected technique, a perfect system. I mean, it works really good, but when I say perfect system, there's probably room for improvement. Kind of like hydrogen with most machines. I mean, it took the Japanese till 2018 to come out with this, which is basically the best there is at this time. And the thing is, they've even improved this thing all the way up till 2022, and it's practically perfect. I don't, and the funny thing, there's nothing out there. That's why it's always confusing. Well, it's confusing to me, but apparently it's more confusing to other people. That a lot of people who are confused about hydrogen and brownsgas, they think it's the same thing, and it is definitely not the same thing. In fact, the more I learn about them, the more different that they actually are. And I was going to do a video because of people requesting the differences, and there's just a lot of a lot of differences between them. And probably one of the biggest ones that I'm beginning to realize is it appears, now you guys always know I don't give you medical advice or make any medical claims, but it really appears that the brown's gas is just not as permeable into the cells because of the way that it works with the oxygen. Oxygen molecule is too big. That's the whole point of hydrogen, is that it gets into the cells. And that's one of the biggest things that I'm realizing. So right now, I'm filling up my water because I always do my water in the mornings. I gotta have clean water, guys. It's just, I find it very interesting. Out of all the health people out there, I don't see it be preached enough. I know people talk about clean water, and the people who do preach about it, they tend not to clean it correctly. That's the weird part. Yeah, maybe they're selling some water system and they think it's great. And you know what? A lot of these water filters, they do filter out some stuff, and it does make the water better. Remember, I'm kind of a perfectionist when it comes to health. I mean, I don't want to say I'm a perfectionist when it comes to it, but when it comes to the quality of my water, yeah, I am kind of a perfectionist. And doesn't mean that I'm not willing to drink like just normal filtered water. I mean, I just want it cleaner. But if I have the choice, and the choice is actually affordable, which thank goodness it is, I want the absolute cleanest water, meaning I don't want nothing in it. I don't want any of these I don't want nothing in my water other than water. And I am going to put a few minerals in here, though. Literally just one drop, maybe two. Nothing crazy, because most of my minerals go in my smoothie. And it is cold this morning, actually. And there we go. Get the carbon distiller fire up. Let me get the apron. And by the way, if you guys have questions, you're welcome to ask them. Otherwise, I guess I can ask myself questions that I would think that you guys might want to know the answers to, but that's not as much fun. All right, so there's the water. Let's move on to making the vacuum smoothie, the vacuum blender smoothie, the hydrogen smoothie. And you know what? I think I got a new technique. In fact, here, let me show you. Because again, I'm in communication with the owner. I think even he's the inventor of this thing. As far as this, he gave me a tip. Check it out. So there's this rubber seal that goes on these lids. You can see this one's got it on right here. Now, this rubber seal was on the vacuum lid. And he said, try, and I'm not sure if I understood him correctly because he just texted me. He said, take off the rubber seal and put it on this one, and take the one from this one and put it on the other one, because sometimes that's why it's so hard to put this thing off and on. And he said, and it'll still work. And I was like, oh, okay, so new technique today. We're trying a different rubber seal today. So that's one of the things we're going to do today. And then I'm going to try less water, because last time, if you guys saw the video yesterday, and so we're going to just try different techniques. So let's just get rolling and let me make my breakfast. Okay, and let's see here. Jason Jones says, good morning, Greg. I want to thank you for taking time to call my father. He was very impressed and felt blessed that you took the time to talk with him. Oh, you're very welcome. I'm I'm very glad that I was able to be of help with that because it is a concern. Do you use both hydrogen machines? Yes, of course I do. See right here, I've got one just for inhalation. I found that it's way more convenient, and I end up doing a way more inhalation, and that's why I did it. Yeah, okay, it's expensive, but it was worth it for me. And then of course I got one running on water. So yes, I do have two at this time, and it was so worth it. It's probably one of the better decisions that I've made. I didn't want to, and then I was like, all right, let's do this. And it's been great. And I'm not the only person who has said that. I've spoken to other people who are like, this is great. And and it's interesting. Another thing that I'm learning about is hydrogen levels. Um, we always think more is better, more is better, and I'm starting to learn that maybe more is not better. And what I mean by more, I'm talking about the amount of hydrogen that these machines are putting out. Um, I'm literally learning that the level that the Hydrofix is putting out is basically perfect. I mean, and I remember when I spoke to the people at the company in Japan, the guy responsible, he's like, look, we're following the medical, what the medical professionals are doing. And you don't want too much hydrogen. And I kept thinking more better, more better. And that's what everybody thinks. And that's what everybody tends to do. And in this particular case, that doesn't appear to be the case. So, and I think we're going to learn more about that as time goes by. Because apparently hydrogen can, well, I'll go into those details maybe in another video actually. Let's see here. So just put in my nutrient powder. I'm going to put raw cacao, and I like raw cacao. And actually, maybe we can even bring up, we can talk a little bit, depending on what, again, really, depending on what you guys want to talk about. You can ask about water, you can ask about foods, you can ask about hydrogen. The gentleman who I think was Jason in the room, he was making the comment because he was confused about Brown's gas and hydrogen. And I can understand why. What's unfortunately really happening in the world of hydrogen, and this is my own personal opinion, but obviously it's an opinion because of the things that I'm seeing. People are talking about Brown's gas, and I say people, it's mostly people who sell products, obviously. And they talk about them like it's hydrogen, and it just isn't. And that's extremely confusing to people because people are probably not understanding or aware that there's literally been not one medical study that has shown that Brown's gas is effective. You're literally just going off of some guy or multiple guys out there just saying, yeah, this stuff's awesome. I think the only reason that it has any benefit at all, which it's not going to be the best, is just because it has some hydrogen in it. That's all. But it's not going to be as good as pure hydrogen. And because, well, for one, we actually have medical data showing us. I mean, this is why we need science. Some people may not agree with science, which I know that there's bad studies out there and a bunch of shenanigans from certain industries with a lot of money. But this whole hydrogen thing, I mean, it was the opposite. In Japan, they were trying to make it to where hydrogen would not be available to people, and they didn't want to. There wasn't a lot of support for it, and the Japanese went above and beyond and proved that hydrogen definitely has medical efficacy so far, and it took forever. And by the way, don't think that they don't know about Brown's gas. They do. In fact, Brown's gas, what I discovered, is actually just really old. It doesn't require better technology. In fact, the technology that it uses is actually inferior and it's not as good. And they didn't find it to be nearly as effective as pure hydrogen. And I'm starting to see that now because I did try Brown's gas myself. And the biggest issue is I'm also noticing that it has to do with the quality of materials, as I've always, have been preaching for a long time, because making hydrogen correctly is super important. And I know a lot of people just want to make a profit and all this stuff, and I get that, but it's important to do it right. And so what happens, you kind of got the wild, wild west in the world of hydrogen. And what ends up happening is you end up having products that use chemicals, cheap metals, and just improper way of doing it. And that causes, unfortunately, a lot of issues from everything that I'm reading. In fact, I'm going to be doing a video basically because of all the people who have been so confused and asking for it. And I'm going to do a thing where Chat GTP, we're going to ask AI. And I already have had people asking it, and it's extremely accurate when it comes to that subject, which I was, again, extremely shocked about. I didn't think that it would be. So that's going to be an interesting one if you guys want to hear that one. Do you use both hydrogen machines? Yes. Okay. Okay, so that was your only comment. So it's going to be a learning experience, but today we are making my nutritional hydrogen smoothie, except we are now enhancing it with a vacuum blender system. And just the blender itself is awesome. And they have a different lid. You can just use it as a normal blender if that's what you want to do. But the vacuum system, I'm digging it. I'm digging it. I certainly have not perfected it yet. I think this is what, day 3, I think. Yeah, I think it's day 3. But we're about to find out today if I can do it a little differently. And my only gripe with the system at this point, and this is just because of probably how much smoothie I consume, is just literally the amount of the size of the pitcher. Somebody was like, well, you just have to do it twice. I'm like, I don't see, that's the whole thing. I don't want to do it twice, right? Because then that's more time consuming. I just wanted to make one smoothie for my whole day. But I know at this point, this is not going to be, you know, it's gonna have to, I'm gonna have to figure out a way. Now, I might have just literally got too many greens here. I can see it already. So these are super greens. I don't believe that most of us get enough greens, to be honest. People are worried sometimes about things like oxalates in the food. It's really hard to get a super high level of oxalates, and you probably would have to be, I'm going to assume that juicing, you'd get more oxalates because of how much, I mean, I used to do the juicing and how much produce. I got a buddy who's been eating this way for massive amounts of smoothies and juicing and whatever, gosh, how many decades? I mean, he's in his, I think he's 70 or more or older, extremely healthy. I mean, he's actually just, he really is like a beacon of health. And he actually used to be pretty sick too. I don't think he was as bad as I was, but that's how he chose to change his life, and it's been pretty remarkable. He either has really good genes or it's part of the diet. He does have a hydrogen machine too, though, and he does do super clean water. Okay, and he's been doing that. He understands the importance of all those things. Let's go with blueberries. Now, here's where we're going to have to make. Obviously, these are really good for your vascular system, anti-cancer, anti-angiogenic. I'm going to put less blueberries than I normally would, which is too bad because blueberries are really good for you. This is what I mean about having to modify the smoothie. But hey, we do. What's more important to me? Making a big smoothie with a massive amount of ingredients, or am I trying to streamline and make this like healthier, even though it's smaller, try to make it even healthier for me, more nutrients. And because I believe, well, you know, funny thing, it's not even really a belief system. But I was just going to say, I believe that there are all these amazing nutrients in plants, and it's not a belief, it's just scientific fact, actually. Plants have some very interesting properties to them. And I not only want to get them in my body, clearly, and it's hard to, you know what I should talk to you guys about? And it's tough. And so I think a lot of these properties are potentially destroyed through the oxidation process of the blending, too much oxygen, too much oxidation. We really don't need a lot of oxygen. I think a lot of people, that's another issue. I'll be releasing some medical data on that too, because you should see what it does to certain organs. It's not always the most positive thing. Obviously, we need oxygen though. So I think what people don't understand about life sometimes, or health is what I should probably say, not life, is that life is about balance. Life is about balance. You don't want too much water. You don't want too little water. You don't want too many vegetables, but most people just don't get enough. Okay, now we're going to put hydrogen raisins in here. This might already bring our limit of water. See, that's how little water I'm going to be able to get in this thing. Wow, that's a lot of raisins. Oops. Today's smoothie's going to be sweet. And you know what? That's okay. The reason I use raisins, I'm really getting into the raisins. And actually, here's another magic ingredient. You should see the health benefits of flax seeds. In fact, I could do a video on that if you guys really want to. Super interesting. The flax seeds are pretty awesome, and they're pretty inexpensive. They also have a high amount of fiber, but they also have, let's see here, omega-3s, omega-6s, omega-9. Wow, really? I didn't even, wow, omega-9. Naturally occurring fatty acids. Of course, lots of calcium, iron, potassium, all sorts of good stuff. I mean, that's the thing. Whenever you do nuts, seeds, beans, fruits, vegetables, I mean, they're going to have all sorts of good stuff. Now, of course, I try to go organic as much as I can. So that's another thing. I'm really trying to avoid the chemicals. In fact, I went to, I was going to release a little footage, but I didn't take very good footage, so I didn't release it. I was invited to a vineyard. Actually, I think I was invited to a different one today, but I'm not sure I'm going to go. But what I can tell you was, of course, did a little wine tasting, and I talked to one of the people they're growing, the way that they grow the grapes, and I thought it was pretty awesome. They're not certified organic because the certification, they said, it costs a lot of money, but they are, they do grow organically, basically. They practice organic practices. So I thought that was really awesome because I really wasn't going to be fond of drinking, wine full of pesticides. Because, by the way, I've definitely done that, and it doesn't feel good. It makes me feel actually it doesn't make me feel good. And today I'm fine. I actually took my hydrogen water in my pouch. It was funny because the people at the vineyard, they're bringing me water along with the wine tasting, and I was like, oh no, I'm good. And she goes, oh no, you really should drink water, because when you drink water with alcohol, it helps, metabolize everything and blah, blah, blah. And she was starting to tell me, and I said, well, because I don't like to bring things up about my knowledge. And I was like, well, to be kind of honest, and I know I'm going to sound like a total snob. And I'm like, I'm kind of a water expert. I don't think I use water expert. I said, I'm pretty well, I said, I'm very knowledgeable or something. I can't remember what I said, but I said something like that. I was trying to be as nice as I possibly could. And then she was like, oh, you are? And I said, well, yeah, I said, I brought my own water. I appreciate it, because I don't really know. I don't know where their water's coming from. It's probably just tap water. I don't know. And she was mentioning something about spring water or something. I think she was interested because she's like, oh, really? Because there's things you can do. I have knowledge also agriculturally that I don't believe anybody is really, well, not in the US at least. And we talked a little bit about agriculture because of the way that they grow the grapes, and the vineyard was gorgeous, guys. Oh, the drives out there, and so unbelievable, actually. I mean, really, really just, I should have recorded more, but I was enjoying my time, with, different people, friends. And, but yeah, it was absolutely gorgeous, and the weather was perfect. I mean, literally perfect. I had shorts and, very white, summery, thin shirt, with just like a tank top and whatever. And it was just so nice. But I did bring my own water, and I think she was like, you brought your own water? And then, of course, my space hydrogen bag is like, whoa, wait a minute, what's what? She was kind of laughing. She goes, why does it look like that? And I said, well, I have a gas in the wash. She goes, a gas? Like, yeah, hydrogen gas. So, it throws people off. And I usually, honestly, what I try to do is I usually try to hide it. I try to conceal it because, I mean, I don't want to be, I feel like, I don't know, you guys tell me your opinions. It feels like it'd be like snobby, like, I brought my own water, thank you very much. And my water's actually clean. And mine has hydrogen in it. Have you ever heard of hydrogen? It's like, I don't want to go down that route. And I know that most people don't care, so I just I try not to say anything, and I try to keep it on the down low. I definitely don't like, oh yeah, I got these videos on YouTube if you want to watch them. No, I don't say anything. Kind of funny though, but no, it was a good fun, and the wine was excellent. And let's see, we're gonna go with organic walnuts soaked in hydrogen water. Why? Well, they're anti-cancerous, for one. If you look up studies, they did studies on walnuts, and it's pretty remarkable. And they tried to do extract on the walnuts, but it didn't work. It had to be the whole walnut. So there must be something in there. They don't even know the whole reason. And if I can enhance them with hydrogen, as I've been discovering, that hydrogen really appears to enhance this stuff. That's another issue with, again, Brown's gas versus the hydrogen, is that the Brown's gas is not going to penetrate into the food. In fact, it doesn't even dissolve in the water very good, the way hydrogen does. So that's kind of a problem. And yeah, there's just a lot of little things that are just not really the same. Even though, just because something has hydrogen in it doesn't mean that it's the same. Because for example, gosh, I don't even want to name the medicine, so I won't. But there's a very popular medicine, and you don't have to name it because it'll get us all in trouble here on YouTube. But there's a medicine that actually hydrogen is one of the main components of it that's really important. Okay, I'm going to put a little hydrogen water in here now, just as we go, just a little bit, because this whole thing, we're doing a different method today. Let's see how little. I'm going to try to go real little. I'm going to try to be really conservative this time because, again, today's a new technique. So I'm going only to here, if you can see the water level there. And let's see here. Karina says, I made my first batch of hydrogen water yesterday, and when I poured the water, I saw that there was some water touching the electrodes from the basin. Is that a problem? I don't know if you're talking about the two pins that would be on the base where you put the pitcher on, but if you see water in there, it's not a big deal, but you can just wipe it with like a little paper towel. I put in the 100 milliliters that's required only. Oh, wait a second, you're confusing me now. I made my first batch, the electrodes. Okay, I think I got it right. Karina says, okay, so the water is not touching the square electrodes on this pitcher tray, but the curved wire that's in there, water is touching that curved wire. Is that an issue? Oh no, that's not an issue. That's the way it's designed. I believe that's actually a sensor, so that it can sense when the machine is low on water, so that it will alert you. Because the machine is kind of like a car engine. You want the level to be right as far as, like, for example, how much oil is in it. So what am I missing here? Oh, I know what I'm missing. I'm like, what am I forgetting? I got to put natto, and I think we're gonna get away with that. Natto is, I gotta tell you guys, I'm not gonna say that it's absolutely necessary for this smoothie, but it makes a massive difference, because for people who want to like live off this stuff, see, the water's already rising when I push down. So good. We're learning here. We're learning. Okay, one thing I'm gonna do, which I don't know if I should or not, but I'm just gonna do it because today is new technique day. I'm gonna put the minerals in now. All right, there we go. Get some minerals. See, that's where I put the majority of my minerals, guys. I put it in my smoothie. Rye? What? Rye? Rye? I mean, why? Oh my goodness. It's because the way it works with the fiber in the food. That's kind of the magical aspect. And as much as I would love to use these beet leaves, I don't think I'm going to have enough room today. So what are we going to do? Boy, it looks like I got to go grocery shopping for beets is what it looks like. I am going to put some beets in this magical smoothie, which I'm kind of excited today. I think this is going to be different. I think I'm getting closer to fine-tuning my technique here. I'm hoping that this vacuum smoothie today tastes better, that we don't have the issue yesterday of too much water and it was coming out of the machine. The machine, la máquina. I believe that means, in Russian, it means like car, apparently. There's a famous comedian who I was listening to the other day. I love comedy, by the way, and I don't get offended. you know, like how everybody gets offended when these comedians say the craziest stuff. I actually love pushing the boundaries, and but I don't. I mean, I'd like to, but I don't, because, well, for one, I'm not extremely funny, and two, everybody always gets offended, and I understand. But yeah, I like pushing the boundaries. I like getting real, dare I say, guys, stupid, silly. I'm probably letting you know too much about me here. But yes, I love comedy. I love being silly. I love laughing. I love, you know, people, and I really sincerely want the best for people. That's actually one of the reasons that I'm doing this. And I just found out that somebody that you know that I haven't talked to for a while apparently bought a vineyard. I had no idea. and he's doing really well, and I'm very happy for him. And I love when people do well, by the way, whether it's well like in financially with work, or whether it's well in life, like they're, super healthy, or things are just going well. I love when people are doing well. In fact, I've heard stories of people, and I'm a little confused by this in some ways, when people get really jealous when other people do well. And I'm always a little perplexed by that. I'm like, what? Like they're mad that somebody's doing well. And that's always been extremely confusing for me, because I just love when people do well. And I feel like, doesn't that just spread more love and joy when people are doing well, hopefully, And of course, when people are not doing well, it probably spreads a lot of hatred, I guess. People who are so jealous, like people who will go scratch your car because maybe you did well and you bought a nice car, or maybe you like cars. Maybe you built that whole thing in your own garage and it's like gorgeous, and people maybe think you're rich and you're not, and people who damage your property because they're somehow jealous. And I think it's great when people do well, are happy, and that makes me happy. That's one of the biggest things that I discovered about my journey to looking for happiness, because that's, for again the people who don't know me super well, I've been on that journey since probably about 8 years old. Ever since I was 8, I had a lot of big problems with extreme sadness and depression. And I don't know if I've shared that before, but it's been pretty bad. And in fact, I got some new data on depression. This is huge. It's from Japan. And if you guys want to know more about it, just comment there and we can get into it. But I was just saying that happiness has always been a huge thing for me and looking for it. And one thing that I discovered, a very quote unquote, I mean, it took so much meditation, self-reflection. I mean, so much, years and years for me to figure out, which is something I feel that's so simple, that one of the things that gives me the greatest joy, and I believe all humans are like this. I think it's just deep down inside, you got to look for it. And but here's our natto, where you have to activate our natto by stirring it at least 100 times, according to the data from Japan. Yeah, so looking for happiness, I realized that when others are doing well, when others are happy, that's actually one of the things that gives me the greatest joy and happiness, is others being happy. And I think that even gets kind of biblical and spiritual. Not to get it's not religious, by the way, but where someone like I think even in the Ten Commandments, love your neighbor as yourself. You know, loving others, others loving you. I mean, it's just love all around us. Love is all around us. Have you heard that? Go on and let it show. So, it's just been something that's been of great importance to me, and that's these videos. Of course, I don't have a million people watching and all this stuff, but if people were trying these practices, and you know what, no matter what you eat, some people are like, hey, I believe in only eating meat. Okay, maybe you only have meat and vegetables and a little bit of steamed rice or something, or even no rice. I think that can be a healthy diet in different ways depending on what your goals are. And I think the biggest thing that helps everybody is super clean water and the best hydrogen there is. I don't care what diet you're on. I think it is an absolute winner from everything that I've seen. So, I mean, you can't argue not having clean water or clean air, by the way. But unfortunately, there's not much I can do about the air. I can't be wearing some tank or hazmat suit or something and having pure, super clean air being pumped through it. You know what I mean? But we can do something about the water we drink, and it is, in my opinion, extremely important. Eating some of the leftover residue of the natto. And so, if I can share, my knowledge, which has taken me an extremely long time and a lot of effort and research to get here. This is Japanese mustard. I'm going to put this away. I tend to save the little mustard packets. The other packets, they're a soy sauce packet, but they're not normal. They have like sugar in them and stuff, and I'm just not. That's what the new research is about, by the way. The new research from Japan has to do with processed sugar. Okay, let's see. Karina says, okay, thanks, because I left the machine on standby mode so that I can have some hydrogen water ready for the morning, and the drinking water was very warm. I got concerned. No, it's normal. It's gonna get, I mean, there's electricity, and let's see. And if you're gonna leave it on, you know, all night or something, yeah, it's gonna get warm, especially during the hotter times of the year. Okay, now I'm putting the chia seeds. This is the dangerous one because the chia, wow, that's a lot of chia seeds. Oops. They're rich in protein, minerals, you know, vitamins. They're just super awesome. And they're inexpensive, and I soak them in hydrogen water, so now they're carrying a lot of good stuff into my colon and GI here. But the problem is when you use them, it blocks the water from going in. But I think today we are trying a new method. We are trying a little less water, and I'll tell you, normally I put a lot of water in my smoothie. So we're gonna see how this works out. Okay, a little more organic celery, even though today I'm gonna be, there we go. Oh no, shoot, broke the bag. It's got a little Ziploc thing in there, but clearly this design doesn't work. This is, you know what? I mean, it's fine, but it's funny because there's, when you get stuff that's packaged in Japan, you have to look really close on the packaging because they're specifically designed for you to open the package. And they'll have like a tiny little thing, you just have to look for it. And when you find a little like indentation or a little spot where it's designed, and when you, I'll tell you something, the Japanese, when you ever consume a product from Japan, if you've ever lived there or been there, they'll pull the perfect part of the package and it will literally open perfectly. And I'm like, wow. I mean, they really think about stuff. Even the smallest thing, you know, materials are only part of the equation. It's like cooking. Ingredients are important, but so is the chef. And it's a combination. And the Japanese are so good at this. They're so good at the little details. And the American packaging, man, you're like trying to open it with your mouth. When you do open it, it just doesn't open right. Just like this celery is a perfect example. And the Japanese, you know, I don't know why they're like that. It's almost like maybe it's even, dare I say, genetic. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's cultural, but whatever it is, they're so focused. They are focused. Read about their history and read about the people that have, you know, the things that they've done, and it's very impressive, and it reflects in little things in life, and hence the reason they're probably the ones, you know, they clearly discovered hydrogen being medically viable, and they obviously are the first country in the world to get it medically approved. I don't think anybody, pretty much, I mean, people are going to follow suit, but it's going to take a while, and people keep wanting to change what they've discovered, and like, oh, you know, like the brownsgas thing. Oh, brownsgas is better, even though with literally zero evidence, which is always kind of silly. But you know, you got to be cautious, right? I only assume that that's probably driven more by financial than anything, is my assumption, but just my opinions. Okay, organic banana in here. Normally I don't do this order, but we're trying something different today, and I can see that it's already getting to the top. And look at the water. It's even. Are you kidding me? That little water, and it's still making its way to the top. Wow. Do I have to put even less water? No way. Well, maybe. I mean, I guess I didn't, how much water did I put? Let me check. I put, wow, I almost put half a liter, which I think is not much. But I guess I could put a little less. Time will tell. We're about to blend this sucker, and I'm going to show you this new technique that we'll see if it actually works. That was suggested, if I understood the person from the company correctly, because he texted it, and usually I just feel like so much gets lost in translation with text. I'm not good with just texting back and forth. In fact, I kind of hate that. That's why a lot of my viewers who contact me, I'm like, just message me your phone number and I'll call you when I can. You know, because if I start emailing, you're emailing back and forth. So much is lost in translation. And then things are still not quite right. And then all of a sudden, 20 emails later, you're like, you know what? It would have been easier if, you know, just put a little earpiece in while I'm going for a walk or something, or while I'm having to maybe drive somewhere and put the Bluetooth on and be like, okay, how can I be of service to you? You know, because that's kind of what I'm obviously doing here. I'm trying to be of service to people who want to improve their lives because, well, when you're sick, It's no fun, guys. It's absolutely no fun when you're in pain, when you're sick. I not only know from experience, but I'm sure there's plenty of people out there who know too. And it's, you know, that's why I wish that I could. And by the way, I do want to do this, and will do this. It's just a matter of making the right connections. There is, well, for example, there's a piece of equipment that I want to build, but I already know it's going to be expensive. It's going to be like 20, $30 million. I believe that it could be a revolutionary piece of equipment for people's health. Some people think such equipment already exists. I'm a little, I don't know about that, but I think this equipment would be absolutely amazing on multiple levels, both athletically, of course, but also very much for people's health. But you got to make the right connections. I did try to contact that one guy, like supposed to be some type of almost a billionaire or something. And he's supposed to be really into his health and all this stuff. And he's trying to discover longevity. I'm like, honestly, I think I already have your answer. But unless you're some guy who's been at a university for 25 years and you got a double PhD and all this stuff, a lot of times people don't listen. And it's funny, people listen to they'll say things like, oh, doctors, don't know anything. But then that's, well, this doctor said, and then they go and literally it's exactly who they're listening to. And I've learned that having a degree or something, for me, doesn't mean much. It doesn't mean that it couldn't be helpful or that it wasn't good. I mean, it's not like I didn't go to school, I did. But I always found that schools they teach a lot of in-the-box stuff, which is, fine and all. But I'm a very outside-the-box kind of thinker, and sometimes extremely outside the box. But I've also just made some pretty wild discoveries. So I've been, dare I say, actually accurate on a lot of things. So, and obviously I was able to help myself. And when no medical professional could, no natural healer could, no health guru. I mean, there's so many people who do make claims out there, and it's like, it's so disappointing because they're looking for the answer and they're just, So anyway, not to go down that road, I think I got everything in here. I kind of have a feeling that I missed something, but let's see. The water's here. This is going to be wild, guys. You ready for the moment of truth? All right, this is what we're doing here. What did I miss? I feel like I missed something in here. What did I not put in here? Got the banana. All right, well, okay, we're just going to go with it. If you guys want to see how this thing works, let me know and I can show you. But basically, remember, new seal. So look how much easier it is to put on today. Well, that was that. Do you guys remember yesterday I was like pushing and pushing? And is it pushing it against the vegetables? Okay. He said you don't have to push on there that hard because once you turn on the vacuum system, it actually sucks the lid on. So here we go. Power on. We're about to watch the water. Now here we go. And I wouldn't leave the machine on standby all night long, personally, by the way. I would just get some hydrogen pouches if that's what you want. And you put that, because the way the Hydrofix makes the water is very stable. Unlike most equipment out there, it's not as stable. Like hydrogen pools are not stable at all, which is not good because in my personal opinion, then the hydrogen is not going to be as bioavailable to your body. But anyway, that's a whole other conversation. Okay, it's level 25. He said level 16, 17 is really high, but I'm going to go with 25 and see what happens. Ready, set, go. Whoa. See how fast the water went up, guys? Holy cow. Did you guys see that? Oh boy, because I don't want it to get sucked up into the machine, but here we go again. Oh boy. Boy, oh boy, this thing is really, okay, what am I going to do with this? I might have to go less water. Oh. Stop there. See, I can tell that there's water coming out of here. There's a tiny little vent here, and there's a pump that's sucking out this water, and if it gets into here, that means it's getting into this thing, and I don't really want that. Let's see here. Ooh. Ooh, maybe that was the perfect amount of water. Okay. Still sucking. You can see all the air bubbles. Are you guys able to see this? The air bubbles that come up is sucking all the oxygen out of here. Now, granted, let me stop it for a second. I'm going to shift it to a different option because I have it at level 25, what some people would be like, dude, that's way too high. Okay, let's go to 17. 17 apparently is like extremely powerful. I was just kind of going overboard. Look, the water's right there. All right, maybe I did pick the right level. Still sucking. Says it's flashing a little red light. I don't know what that means. But clearly it's still on. It says ready. Still sucking though. It ain't stopping. Still see little air bubbles. Wow. This might have been good. This might have been, we'll find out when we blend it here in a second. What I don't know is why it's not stopping and why let's stop. Should we stop it for a second? Let's let it run for a second. Let's just see what happens. I don't see any air. Here, I'm going to stop it for a second. Okay, let's see. What's the big deal here? Lid's on. Everything's nice and tight. Hit go. I mean, there's no way it's just going to keep sucking forever. But I do like that the water stopped right there. It rose so fast. I was like, holy cow. Well, okay. I mean, it looks pretty good. What does that red light mean? I read the manual, but I feel like some stuff is missing there. Okay, let's put it in the blender. It's still sucking. You know what I'm gonna do? You know what? Let's do this. It has a number here that pops up in the corner. I don't know what that means. It says number 8. A second ago was a 7. Let's try a different setting. I don't know if it's the lid. Remember I changed the suction thing? It just keeps going. Let's try, again, a different setting. Let's go to the highest one more time, 25, just see what happens. It says pumping down. I think it's got all the air out of there. This has got to be... Why doesn't it stop, though, is the question. I mean, I would think that it's got an option where it stops automatically. I'm wondering if it's a lid. Okay, well, let's see how it goes. Let's see how it blends. That should be good enough. All right, here we go. Let's turn it off. I like to turn it off while I blend. Okay, so that way it doesn't do any sucking. But look how beautiful it blends up. In fact, you know what? Let's see, I just started blending. Let's see if it sucks a little more here. This will be interesting. You guys want to see this? Now, the beautiful thing is this blender, one thing that's really impressive, way better than the Vitamix in some cases, it doesn't get stuck. And I find that very impressive. Okay, let's see what happens if I suck the air out now. See if there's any air bubbles. See a little bit. No, looks pretty good to me. The water isn't rising. Oh, it is rising. Yep, it is rising. Just a little bit. Interesting. But at least the water is not going all the way up. See? You can see the water rising. I don't know if you guys can see it here. It is sucking the air out of this thing. I'm starting to wonder if the other lid made a better seal. I mean, he said this one makes just fine of a seal. It feels fine. Definitely suction cupped on there. Well, that looks pretty good to me. Let's shut it down and keep making breakfast. You know what? I think, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to run it again. You know why? Because normally you're supposed to leave the lid on while you're blending, but I didn't want to do that because, here, I don't know if you guys can see from over there. My apologies. Because, well, actually, here, what? Let me try to run this. Yes, run it while it's pumping. As long as the water doesn't get up there. If it does, I'll stop immediately. Interesting, okay. Oh yeah, now it's got some separation from the lid. I can see the level rising a little bit. Pumping, keeps pumping. In fact, you know what? Let me change the option. That 25 is probably pretty extreme. Let's go. 17 is like more than enough, so let's do that. But I thought you're supposed to wait. You know what? I am realizing something here. I thought you were supposed to wait till this thing stops. The question is, why isn't it stopping? That's my question. In fact, you know what? Let's try this. Let's stop it for a second because I do think it's supposed to stop. And I do see a number here. Now it says 13. So it is suctioning. And I'm just wondering if the lid, I think it's on tight enough. I don't know what the issue would be, but the number is rising, so it is pumping. You know what? It is pumping, and it's at a 13 of the 17, which that's when it probably stops. But I'm definitely sucking some air out of there. I'm going to see if I can. Let's see, where is it at right now? Yeah, it's just going to keep on going until it reaches its destination, it looks like. As far as the pressure. I'm going to wait a little longer because I bet you it's getting close. I notice if I put my hand on the vent, it seems to make a better seal. I wonder if it's because I got a tiny little bit of water in there. Interesting. Let's stop it and see what it says. We're at a 14. See? Okay. Let's just blend this up now. Yes, okay. I'm going to turn off the pump thing because I can see that this stuff's going to touch the lid and I don't want to damage. When it starts trying to suck in there, I think that's when it's no good. Okay, let's try it now. It's working beautiful. Oh, there we go. It did kind of. You know, I think it's actually the rubber thing. That's what's going on. This one was way on there, but why? He told me to use a different rubber thing, and I'm not sure if it was the one that I'm using. I don't remember seeing any other ones. Wow, this works great though. I gotta say. I mean, look, it doesn't get stuck. It works fine. Yeah, because I got a bunch of produce in there trying to chop through. This is doing great though. I'm gonna stop it because I can hear that because it's under a vacuum, I think some of the bigger chunks don't go down to the bottom. I probably have to release the air, but I'm not gonna do that. Let it blend a little bit. Oh, there it goes. It does that, and the Vitamix does the same thing when it runs into produce that it's trying to chop it. Okay, let it blend. Oh. Really chopping up that produce. I can definitely see the seal's not quite as good. I think that's actually the issue. So we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. The color looks great though. See, it's fine until it hits some produce. All right, let me pull back a little bit here because I'm going to be grabbing some jars here for you guys to show you how we're going to finish. There we go. Just let it do its thing. But I'm going to let some stuff drop to the bottom. I definitely think, well, for one, I'm definitely going to get less smoothie, but that's just because of the size of the lids here. But I gotta say, I actually really, I'm gonna put a little hydrogen water in here and I'm gonna blend that more. I actually really like it. The way everything's working is good, other than just trying to figure out the technique. It's smooth out there. Yeah, I mean, when it jumps around, that just means that there's chunks in there. Chunks. I like it nice and smooth. It's almost like a well-chewed food. And sometimes it just runs super smooth because, let me see here. Here's the technique. try to get that produce to the bottom. I want it all chopped up real nice like, but I like the way everything functions. This is great. There we go, okay? It's chopping up some produce. Yeah, I can definitely feel it chopping it up. So that was a good technique. Put a little towel down, just trying to make the bigger chunks settle to the bottom, to the blades. It sounds like it's all smoothied really perfectly, but I'm just being a little perfectionist here. I want it really smooth and creamy. There we go, I heard that. Okay, last magic ingredients here. We definitely need some nutrition. It sounds great. It sounds great. I think it's all done, but I'm just gonna make sure overkill here. And I like that it's got a safety option that you can't turn it on unless this thing's on there. The Vitamix doesn't do that. That way some kid doesn't hurt himself. Oh, that thing, it feels great. It feels really like it's all smoothied up, but I'm gonna let it run a little bit and I'm gonna take out the compost because I can kind of hear, you can actually hear when it's chopping things up. So just give it a little bit more time. Make a wonderful smoothie today, why not? Look at all that. Oh yeah, I can hear it chopping stuff. It's doing its magic. Yeah, you know, I can still hear it chopping things. I usually let the Vitamix run for quite a while too. Let's see. There we go. Yeah. Sounds pretty good to me. Okay, let's go with this. That might not be enough. Super great. The nice thing is that as you blend it more, because it's under vacuum, you're not going to be pulling more and more air and oxidation like you would with the Vitamix. That's kind of nice. I can see that it's plenty good. I'm just just being kind of, I just want it super, super smooth here. Okay, now let's see the moment of truth. Remember how I took off the lid yesterday? Now let's see how I take off the lid today. Now there's a little vent here, the little red button, so I'm going to release it. You can actually hear that. Let's see if you hear the noise. Do you hear that? It went psh. Now this lid comes off. So my technique was put my hand against where the handle is, put my thumb there, and just lift. Look at that. Now it'd be easier though. Here's the other technique I learned. I put a piece of tissue underneath the vent because of the air release. I could hear it again. Then put my finger here, just push up. See, that was easy. So much easier. So much easier to remove. Okay, that's interesting. So much easier to remove with this new gasket. But I'm going to guess it wasn't vacuuming as good. Do I think it does a really good job regardless? Yeah, of course. It's going to do a good job regardless because it's the vacuum system on this thing is pretty awesome. But if you want to get all picky, I'm like, no, I want it to be perfectly sealed, which you know me guys, I'm kind of that picky guy. So I may actually change the rubber gasket again and try the original way, even though it's going to be harder to remove the lid. But for people who might have trouble, you know, one thing I can tell you is I can see this is way thicker. Now, good or bad thing, it's just way thicker. Now I'm going to rinse this off, not while it's on. And because according to the company, they said I can do it. Put this electronic thing, rinse it, but I wouldn't have the pump running because that's when it sucks the water into the device and you don't want that. So this thing looks pretty well waterproofed according to the company. So I go with their recommendations. They know their stuff. Just like a lot of the products that I end up choosing, I end up wanting to learn everything about them. So that's why obviously people like watching the channel because I'll give you all the details. I'll give you the lowdown. So this is all good. That was easy. Okay. The problem here is not that it's a problem. It's just thick. So if you want less thick, you can add more water. I'm okay with the thick. We're gonna go ahead and try this. See, well, who knows? Let's try it out today. We'll see, because normally I do have much more water in my smoothie. So let's try the new technique. Let's taste it a little bit though. Man, I gotta tell you, what a difference. Is the taste worth the squeeze, or what do they say? Is the juice worth the squeeze? I don't know. I'm kind of thinking it is. I love that flavor. I mean, I'm a smoothie guy. I love my smoothies, but man, that's nice. Okay, ionic D3 with K2. We need this as an essential nutrient, guys. You absolutely need. I don't do a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Supplements, and you don't see me taking pills or anything. All I do is use the powders, which are basically food. So it's condensed nutrition. But D, you're not going to get enough D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. I'm almost out of this guy. This actually lasts a long time. I got a brand new bottle here on hold. Okay, I am out of boron, but you know it's in the raisins, so we'll go with that. Out of that one, which is fine. I just need the bare essentials. This is chlorophyll ionic. This was just a gift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, obviously, normally get your chlorophyll from your veggies and greens. A lot of health benefits to it, and I've been adding it to it because again, it was a gift, and I don't like anything to go to waste. But I have been liking it more than I expected. You know, now that this is like this, I could probably. I don't want to blend again, but this is interesting. It is thicker though. So who knows? Maybe some people want it thicker. They're like, look, I just want to drink it down already. I'm almost considering putting a little less in this. Yeah, you know why? I'm gonna put less in this one. And if you really want to, I don't have to do this, but I'll do this just for you guys. I think you've seen it before. I'm going to vacuum blend this one. And look at the water level. Here, I'll try to bring the camera over if you want to see how I do this one. This vacuum seals it, so when I give it to somebody, it will be literally perfectly fresh, just as when I just made it. So what I do is I put this one on, lock that in place, and watch the water level. Here we go. Here. It's not rising a ton, just a little bit. I can see a few little air bubbles because there's probably not much. Interesting. It only rises very, very little. Probably because we got most of the air out of the smoothie. So that's interesting. It doesn't rise the same when you vacuum blend, which obviously means it's really pulling that oxygen out of there. Nice. Real nice. All right, look, nice and sealed. And voila. We got a beautiful smoothie here for either me later or somebody. How nice. Okay, now let's add one of the last magical ingredients. I'm going to set this down here now. There's just a little bit left in there, which I'm definitely going to want. See, that's the thing. I have this whole smoothie here, and taste it real quick. Oh, yes. Boy, I love vacuum blenders. I wasn't sure if I'd like it. Thought I would, but the one part I wasn't thinking about was the flavor. That's what's so funny. I know that people commented on the flavor. I've heard it, but I wasn't thinking that's why I'm doing it. I was thinking, I just wanted it to be healthier for me. Guys, don't think for a second I don't like my smoothies. They taste, I love this breakfast, and it feels good. It's so wonderful when you can eat something that not only tastes good, but it actually makes you feel good, because normally you eat things and then you end up not feeling so good afterwards. Now I'm putting hemp hearts in here. Super nutritious. Practically multivitamin all by itself. Massive amounts of protein, just like the natto, except extremely well balanced, omega-3s and 6s. So that's pretty wonderful. I'm going to put that on there. And like I said, I just love the way it tastes. And now we'll answer your questions. So let me just sit down here, because now we got the last magic ingredient. I'll tell you one thing, this is going to have me consuming less. I can see that already. Now, will that save me money? Yeah, actually, I'll be buying less produce. One thing that I do try to do, and I don't talk about it, I don't tell you guys about it, is I actually try to make my body extremely efficient. What you probably don't realize is that I actually don't eat that much. And yet I have discovered a way to gain strength, muscle without eating much, which is like, whoa, how is, and not becoming nutritionally deficient. How is that possible? Well, that's been the direction that I've been heading without really necessarily trying to do it on purpose. And I can feel that I have my body almost had an addiction to calories and even sugar. I definitely had a sugar addiction. And the more that I've gotten off of this stuff, the more I realized that I had an addiction. Where before I just didn't think I did. I'm like, nah, I'm not addicted to that. And then in time, I've been realizing that actually I did have an addiction. And it's hard to know sometimes, you know. But I'm getting more and more sensitive as I purify my body, purify my blood. What some people call the temple of God, you know, the body. I'll tell you, purifying the blood, purifying the body. The more and more I do that, I feel changes. But I don't I don't talk about them a lot. By the way, I'm gonna take my earpiece out because you know some of it might come off as a little foo-foo, you know, or whatever. And so, you know, I try not to go down that road. But let's enjoy this smoothie that we worked so hard. I wouldn't say that it was so hard, but to make, and then we can answer your questions here. Oh man, thickness doesn't bother me at all. That tastes so good. All right. Let's see. Terry C says, Brian Johnson takes loads of supplements. Would love to see your bloods like compared to his. You know, I'd be up for it. And I'm going to go as far as saying that I think he's doing way more than I'm doing. He's clearly spending way more money. But spending more money and doing way more doesn't always translate, you know, to being a good thing. Here, give me 1 second, guys. So, you know, I think taking too many supplements can actually strain the kidneys, which is going to take away from what you're trying to do. If you're trying to heal, you know, or if you're trying to be your best. But let's see here. But yeah, I'd be interested. Helen says, maybe the red light means stop the suction. You know what? It would make sense. Let me grab the owner's manual. Here, give me 1 second. Boy, that tastes so good today. Oh, yeah. That is good stuff right here. Alright, still looking for that owner's manual. Give me 1 second. Can't find the owner's manual. It's got to be here somewhere. Nobody has seen the owner's manual around here? Since things get moved around here all the time. Well, okay. Okay, from what I can see, I can't find the owner's manual, but I might have to go online. Let's look online. Excuse me. Well, that's too bad. That's so weird. Let's do this. Let's go online. Let's go online and see if what it means here. Maybe we can find it. Well, I enjoyed my smoothie. Okay. Okay. Using the vacuum blender system. Red light. Oh, there it is. Red light on charger indicates wireless charger has power, but is not. Let's see. Load your blender jar with the lightest stuff at the bottom. Place the void system to ensure it's properly sealed. Remove. Make the lid easier to remove. Try wetting. Oh, you can wet the gasket. I didn't wet that first before placing on the jar, but it came off super easy. But probably the real strong gasket, maybe it'd be better to wet that. Wait until you're ready to blend message appears on the void lid screen. Will not appear in vac mode. Okay. Blending before void is ready will result in less effective vacuum blending. Of course. Okay. And can damage the pumps. That's the reason that I turn it off, so it's not sucking while I'm blending. Step 4, release the vent. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, but the red light, let's see. Attach the blah, blah, blah. Place the wireless charger. Red light on charger indicates wireless charger has power, but is not emitting power to the receiving device. Red means ready to charge. That's interesting, because the battery's not low. Warning, pumping anything besides air will damage your pump and could cause need for repair. Avoid overfilling container and use presets to prevent damage. Yes, that's why I turn off the pump when I'm actually blending. Let's see here, but what's the red light? Red light indicates wireless charger, but that's not, okay, where's the other red light one? So I don't really know. It's seems to have to do something with the charger, but I will say that thing just kept running because I'm guessing the gasket wasn't on good enough. But it was definitely suctioning, and I can definitely taste the difference. And I reached a level of, I think, 13, and I think I heard 16 was ideal, so it's pretty close. Ensure gasket is properly sealed evenly. Some users may prefer to run water over the gasket. This makes the lid removal easier and provides a better seal. Oh, it's a win-win. I gotta do that. Okay, tomorrow again, guys. Gotta modify the technique again. Place lid securely on container. Use power button to turn lid on. Use arrow to choose your preset. Start pumping. See, the pumps will turn off when desired pressure is achieved. That's probably why it wasn't turning off. Well, I did see the number though. It was at a 13, I think, and I wanted it to be at a 17. You know, so to provide the best results and extend the life of the system, ready. Okay, I guess I gotta go soon. I was just getting a call. I don't even know if you guys can hear me. Comment below. Sometimes when a call tries to come through YouTube, all of a sudden people can't hear me. So I still made it to a 13 out of 16. You can definitely taste the difference, but I'm gonna perfect this technique. So let's see, it says the pump will turn off when your desired pressure is achieved. The display will read ready on the top and the red alert indicator will flash. That's what happened. The little red indicator will flash. That's kind of letting you know that you can blend actually at that point. Please note though, the VAC Plus mode runs the pump for 5 minutes without stopping. This mode is for future accessories and the screen will never display ready. Okay, that's interesting to know. The biggest thing I think is I have to wet the gasket. I think I'm gonna use the old one, the original one that makes a tighter seal, and boom, that's gonna fix it. And I might even have to put a little less water because I noticed again, the water really rises to the top. So this is really surprising, but you know what? Hey, if I can put the hydrogen water in here instead of in the blender, and it's all nice and fresh like I normally do, and pour everything in here like that, that'll be real nice. Cleaning, they're not dishwasher safe, do not use chemicals. The lid is designed to be rinsed under running water. Do not submerge. There you go, and that's exactly what I did. Well, super awesome. Okay, very good, guys. We're living and learning. All right. Let's see here. Let's see, what did you guys say? Maybe the red light means stop the suction. Yeah, it kind of means like that it's ready, it sounds like. Love always says yummy, and it is yummy today. The texture is good today too. I'm glad I blended it extra. Terry C says, yeah, what he does is cool, but it's not obtainable for most people, whereas your protocol is. Hey, that's a good point, Terry, and I agree. My protocol is definitely accessible. I'm living like kind of, I don't want to say a poor guy, but you know, I don't spend a ton on groceries, believe it or not, but I buy very specific things and I do my best not to waste anything. Quansack, any tips for a mild head cold? Well, again, no medical advice, no medical claims. I would just make sure that you're getting, you know, proper levels of all nutrients, especially your vitamin C. This is really amazing, a smoothie with all the nutrients you need, and it's easy for you to digest so that your body can get all the nutrients, but actually heal quickly, which I think is a good thing. And what else can I tell you? I would definitely stay hydrated with hydrogen clean water. So you drink water, even if it's not big amounts, preferably empty stomach, throughout the day, just constantly, stay hydrated. That is, I can't emphasize that enough. Constantly stay hydrated. And if you can inhale hydrogen, I would totally do that too. But if you had some other device, like a brownsgas device, absolutely, I mean, I wouldn't use it no matter what. But when you have a head cold, it's even worse. It just makes things worse because of the chemicals and stuff. I've actually had people contact me who told me that they actually would get worse when they were using it instead of getting better, whereas hydrogen will actually help you get better and not make it worse. And so Stacy says, I think that guy is over the top. He is a little over the top. And I don't know why he's taking so many pictures of himself and everything. I don't quite understand. If I was doing that many studies, I'd be showing the data instead of just posing. I mean, you can do, I don't think he's doing steroids, obviously, but some guy can do steroids and pose all the time, but it doesn't mean you're healthy. Terry sees poor man's longevity. Yeah, well, I think yeah, I mean, kind of poor man's, but kind of, I mean, it's attainable, like you said. And Stacy says, and he's not living life. He's so strict that what fun is he really having? He's an ego. Well, you know, I won't go and judge him in regards to all that. All I can say is that I get what you're saying. And I think it's great, personally, that he's trying to figure out what works. I think that's great. I tend to be, you know, I don't even think I'm actually that strict. Some people think I am. I really don't think I'm that strict. It's not like I don't eat things. You know, I have a regimen. I'm strict with my water. I don't even think he talks about water. That's absolutely insane to me. He should be talking about the cleanest water ever. He doesn't talk about the water. Doesn't even talk about hydrogen. He's totally missing the boat on that one. And then the way he eats seems to be quite healthy. But I do have cheat days. Obviously, I had wine yesterday. Cheat day, you know. And I did bring my hydrogen water and I woke up feeling fine. So that's pretty fantastic. All right, guys, I think I'll be taking off soon if you guys have any last questions. Terry C says, and I am glad you don't wear nail polish. And you know, that's crazy. Why would I wear nail polish, guys? Are you kidding me? I want my nails to breathe. I do not want chemicals on them, keeping them from actually being able to breathe. And the chemicals are not going to be good for you. And I'm very big on caring for my hands, like my nails, you know, my feet, my teeth, you know, the body. You know, you want to really care for this body that we live in, and you want it to feel good. But yeah, you're right. I don't wear nail polish. No nail polish. Whoa, wow. Do I ever have to clip my nails? That's crazy. I just did it. I literally just did it, I thought, yesterday or day before. My nails grow so fast. When you start using the proper nutrients and the hydrogen, it's crazy, the blood flow. It's unbelievable, actually. Okay, whatever. We move on. I'm glad you don't wear nail polish. You know, I wear mascara. I'm just kidding. I don't even know what that is. I just heard the word before. Anyway, let's see here. I think he's cool. Don't get me wrong. Oh, I think he's cool. Yeah, I think it's great that he's trying to do it. Stacy Wakal says, I agree, it's great. I'm not saying that. I want to be healthy and live and have fun. Hey, I agree with that. Once in a while, you got to have a little cheat day. Just once in a while. It's all about balance. That's what I said originally, right? It's all about balance. I can taste the difference. And it wasn't even full suction, apparently. I reached 13, I think, maybe 14. But you can taste the difference. I can't wait now till tomorrow. Maybe I'll make one today again. So next time, less water, better gasket. We're gonna wet the gasket, put it on there, and turn up the boost. We are gonna get ourselves a super vacuum blended smoothie. It's gonna taste even better, I hope. And Stacy says, yep, balance. Yeah, and I agree. It's all about balance, guys. I came in late, gonna watch now, says Stacy. Okay, there you go. Check it out. Okay, anybody? Well, thanks for all the thumbs up. I mean, you know, by the way, thumbs up are free, easy, and it does support the channel. I mean, it does help the algorithm, so I appreciate when you guys do that. We have 14 people in here. I'm pretty sure we could get about, I'd like to see 20 before I take off. I only need 6 more, but, you know, it's not a big deal or anything, but it's nice. You know, it's interesting. They have also an attachment for a Vitamix. But, you know, the attachment's so much, you might as well just get their whole system. And actually, the way their blender's working, I like my Vitamix, and I like this one. It's almost hard to know which one I like more because they're kind of almost identical. The knob works the same. I like the way the knob works. It has the agitator, which I like, and the on-off switch. I mean, they're kind of similar. And apparently they've been very reliable. It could be, I'm just guessing here, that the Vitamix, like a car, could go, like let's say the Vitamix can go 1,000,000 miles, whereas the Void system might go 700,000 miles or 800,000. You know, I think they're both quite good. I think it just depends what you want. But the vacuum, I mean, it's hard to go wrong with the vacuum. I mean, it's nice to have that option. You don't even always have to use it. You just use it once in a while. There, the thumbs up. I just saw them, guys. Thank you. Very kind of you. Only if you mean it, though. If you don't mean it, you don't have to do it. It's okay. All right, guys. Well, I think I'm going to get rolling. I'll do that video if you guys want with more details. I'm going to ask ChatGTP questions about brownsgas and hydrogen. I think it's an important video. There's way too much confusion nowadays. And I think it's important to really give the actual data, not opinions, data. And you know I'm a big data guy, so thanks for watching. See you guys next time on the next one. I'll give you a few seconds if anybody has any final questions, because I know there's like a delay or something on this thing. This still tastes so good though. Smells good. Okay. Well, thanks for the last thumbs up, whoever did that. Everybody's leaving no questions, so I'm going to get rolling. All right, guys, till next time.